The decision that Governor Brown would make is whether the parolee poses an unreasonable risk to the safety of the community. And
Do you think kidnapping 26 juveniles and burying them alive presents a risk to the community? He was convicted of kidnapping 26 kids, juveniles, and burying them alive. Were you with Governor Brown then?
I left in 2015, so I'm unsure of the time period in which that occurred.
This happened in 2015.
That name is not familiar to me. What I can say is those decisions
Do
are...
you remember the case?
I do not.
Okay. When it happened, it got a lot of publicity in California. Did you call Judge Brown or Governor Brown and say, Governor, I love you, but what planet did you just parachute in from? Why have you done this? Judge.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a tense Senate hearing where judicial nominees were grilled over controversial cases and their past decisions. From a shocking parole involving the kidnapping of 26 children to accusations of ignoring legal precedent, this hearing had it all. Let's break it down in clear, simple terms. And before we get into it, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. First up, the Senate pressed a nominee about one of California's most infamous crimes. James Schoenfeld, convicted of kidnapping 26 children and literally burying them alive, was paroled back in 2015 by Governor Jerry Brown. The senator wanted to know, how could anyone justify releasing a man guilty of such a horrific crime? The nominee admitted they worked for Governor Brown at the time, but insisted they didn't advise him directly on parole. Instead, they only provided background information from correctional files. When pressed further, the nominee said they didn't even recall Schoenfeld's case, despite the fact it had received massive publicity across California. This led to a heated exchange, with the senator asking if kidnapping and burying 26 children didn't automatically make someone a risk to society. The nominee's response? They could only comment after reviewing the full file and all the factors considered by the governor. The senator wasn't buying it. He pushed back hard, pointing out how absurd it sounded to hesitate on labeling such a dangerous criminal a community risk. But the nominee held firm, saying the governor's decision-making process had to be viewed in context, with all information at hand. This exchange raised serious questions about accountability and judgment in high-stakes parole decisions.
Judge Coggins, you used to work for Governor Jerry Brown?
That is correct, Senator.
And I believe you advised him on issues regarding parole?
So as the governor under the California Constitution, when the parole board recommends that a inmate be paroled, that matter then comes before the governor to determine whether he's going to reverse that recommendation.
Did you advise him on parole?
I was not advising him. What I provided was a background, all background information. So the nature and circumstances of the particular case that was before us. I was looking at the correctional file. In addition, I was reviewing.
You remember a parolee named James Schoenfeld?
I don't, Senator.
Okay. You talked a lot about, as did you all appropriately, about juveniles in your testimony. Governor Brown in 2015 paroled Mr. James Schoenfeld. He was convicted of kidnapping 26 kids, juveniles, and burying them alive. Were you with Governor Brown then?
I left in 2015, so I'm unsure of the time period in which that occurred.
This happened in 2015.
That name is not familiar to me. What I can say is those decisions are...
Do you remember the case?
I do not.
Okay. When it happened, it got a lot of publicity in California. Did you call Judge Brown or Governor Brown and say, Governor, I love you, but what planet did you just parachute in from? Why have you done this?
I did not.
Do you agree with his decision?
I would need to look at the file. I don't know the context. I don't know the background, the insight, and the decision that Governor Brown would make is whether the parolee poses an unreasonable risk to the safety of the community. And
Do you think kidnapping 26 juveniles and burying them alive presents a risk to the community?
I certainly believe that if that individual is convicted of those crimes, which it sounds like he was,
yeah.
he would be a risk to the community.
But you don't have an opinion about whether Governor Brown did the right thing?
Again, Senator, I would have to be able to look at the complete file and all of the considerations required of the governor, who ultimately makes the decision.
So he might have done the right thing, in your opinion?
I would want to look at the complete file in order to make an assessment.
All right, Judge Becerra. Do you remember a case called J&J Sports Products v. If I mispronounce it, sir, please correct me. Ferraris?
I do recall that case, Senator, yes.
Okay, it was pretty recent, 2020. You're a magistrate judge, right?
I am.
And your decisions have to be reviewed by a federal district court judge?
That's correct.
Okay. You made a ruling in that case, and the district court reversed you.
In part, yes.
And the district court said, quote, these are the judge's words, not mine, that you ignored, quote, a large collection of cases in this district holding that essentially identical allegations are sufficient to state a claim. So your boss said you just ignored a whole line of cases. What's going on here?
Well, Senator Kennedy, the way I recall that case was there's a split in authority about claims that can be brought under the Copyright Act. And there were, in addition to the cases that the district judge cited, there was a whole bevy of other cases going in the other direction. And the Court of Appeals had not ruled on it.
Yeah.
And
but the judge didn't say you looked at both line of cases and decided one was more accurate than the other. He said you totally ignored a line of cases. Did you just disagree with those line of cases?
Senator, I would never ignore a whole line of cases, and I know that was a very lengthy opinion that I issued, and it's my practice in the 1,000 opinions.
Well, I'm going to run out of time. I'm sorry to cut you off, Judge. I don't mean any disrespect. The district court judge says you ignored those cases.
I would respectfully say, as I don't...
Was he wrong?
I'm not going to call a colleague wrong, but I can say that in every case where I write a lengthy opinion, I read all of the applicable authorities. And I know in that particular situation, there's a line of other cases that I have read, and I did so in all of my decisions, and I can expect that I did so in that one as well.
But why did you ignore the line of cases is my point. I can understand you saying, well, there are two line of cases and they conflict, and I find the reasoning more persuasive in this line. The district judge reversed you, said you just totally ignored them. That worries me.
He reversed me only in part, Senator, and in those line of cases, I think there's a split of authority at the district court level. There's no governing Court of Appeals decision or a U.S. Supreme Court decision, which my oath requires me to follow.
Okay. Thank you, folks.
Then the focus shifted to Judge Becerra and his handling of the 2020 case J&DJ Sports Productions v. Firus. In that case, the senator highlighted how a district court reversed part of Becerra's ruling, accusing him of completely ignoring a large collection of cases that contradicted his decision. Becerra pushed back, saying he never ignores precedent. He explained there was actually a split in authority on the issue, and that no appellate or Supreme Court ruling existed at the time. According to him, he carefully considered all sides before issuing his decision. Despite the criticism, Judge Becerra stood by his work. He argued that his opinions are always based on reviewing all applicable authorities, and that reversals happen when courts are divided on complex issues. He stopped short of calling the district judge wrong, but firmly rejected the idea that he had ignored entire lines of precedent. So what we saw in this hearing was two different lines of scrutiny. One, whether a parole decision for a dangerous criminal was defensible, And 2, whether a federal judge showed proper respect for precedent in a split legal landscape. These exchanges reveal the tension between senators who want clear answers and nominees who are careful to avoid missteps. It's a stark reminder of how much weight judicial decisions carry, not just in courtrooms, but in public trust. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts on these cases, and of course subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping our justice system. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.